This is absolutely devastating for the Minnesota Wild as things have started to turn around, yet the same result continues to linger as we saw some very special stuff from the Minnesota Wild tonight with a few brutal updates. We're going to be breaking it all down, going over this game, as well as a few other things here at the end of this video, so be sure to stick around for that. But before we do jump into this video, ladies and gentlemen, I ask you one favor, and if you haven't already, be sure to hit the sub button, join me here on Wild Digest. We have a lot of stuff to cover as the Wild season continues to be off to an interesting start, and changes are bound to happen, and very soon, we're going to be covering all of that here on the channel. You won't want to miss it. We're going to have it all on the channel, but let's get straight into this. I first wanted to pull up the hockey stat card because obviously going into today's game, there was a lot of interesting, yesterday's game, there was a lot of interesting stuff happening with a few moves, everything going on, what's going to happen next. We saw Matt Boldy start to heat up, Brock Faber start to heat up as well with Matt Boldy and Kirill Kaprizov on this team. But the same result continues to happen. And we go here to the hockey stat card, and you see one thing is very consistent, which is a lot of negative from Jared Spurgeon and Jake Middleton. Marcus Foligno down there as well as and Vinny Hinostroza. The only thing is, a lot of positives to take away from this game. And a 4-3 loss to the Jets. This team really showed their offense. The offense was in full force there tonight, or last night, However, things were still at a standstill. They still were not able to hold down the game. They were still not able to go into this game and take this by storm and ultimately go out and put the puck in the back of the net as much as they should have. And we're going to jump into a stat to really prove that here in a few moments. But at the end of the day, when you're looking at this chart, you're seeing a lot of positive and a very little negative, but that negative being a huge factor. It really shows how a game can flip on its head very, very quickly. And I mean, you saw that in overtime. You saw them come down, the 9th win in a row, I believe it is, in the last 10 games or something for the Winnipeg Jets. And just an absolutely ridiculous number that should never be. But this was the opportunity the Wild had to turn that around and really go elsewhere. But when you're looking at how this game did play out with 36 shots from 22 from the Jets, a little bit less than 50% on the faceoff, 26 to 24 hits, penalty minutes, very many less. The power play still on that little bit of a slump that we've seen, and the 5-on-5 scoring still not being at the level we want to see it. Just so many factors piling up on top of each other for the Minnesota Wild have just led them to be at such a glum spot at this point in the season, as early as we are right now. And however long this does continue is going to matter and going to have a big effect on what changes are going to be made, because this is something that, needs to be fixed, but there's only so many things you can do, and we're going to kind of jump into that here as well now in this video. But when you look at the defense, which I think is one of the big things yesterday, which really saw, not the greatest result for the Wild here in this game. Once again, that devastating loss that very much should have been a win in every level. You see there Brock Faber, 1-1 goal and assist, that is. Very good this game as well. Once again, he's very much back, and you go to the hockey stat card, seeing him on top there as well with Marco Rossi. Very, very good signs. But then you go and take a look at the -1. You're out there for 2 goals. You should have that plus regardless of what's going on. And of course, things can happen leading up to that. But when you go and take a look at Jake Middleton, -2. Jared Spurgeon, -1 with that 1 assist as well. You need to see these guys, your top guys on defense, be out there, be +2, +3. If you really want to see a game like this, go ahead for a win. Now, this all does come with the offensive, scoring capabilities being at the top level, being at their best, and having this, you can't rely on just your defense to lock things down. You can't rely on just your offense to go out here and put so many goals up that your goaltending and defense don't have to worry about anything. But when you go and once again and take a look at the stats, and you take a look at the time on ice in specific, you're really seeing how much of an impact that a guy like Jared Spurgeon, playing 27 minutes, the most by 6 minutes on this team, it goes to show how much of an impact that he's had here on games like this, how much you're trusting guys like this. And for Jared Spurgeon, not the greatest season we've seen him play, but when you're looking at the stat card, once again, you see the team defense be all the way down, team offense be all the way up. You want to see everything on the right side of this chart and ultimately just play more of a solid game. And I feel like it's a lot easier said than done. I feel like, it is a lot easier said than done. But this Wild team have a lot of things that they need to really kind of get structured and get solved and figured out as soon as possible. I feel like that's something that John Hynes himself has said, something Bill Guerin has spoken about here over these past, couple of days and weeks when the Wild have really started to continue down this slump and get going. But things need to change, and things need to change fast. But there were a few things in this game that, had it gone the other way, would have been a better result for the Minnesota Wild. My first thing being that high stick call at the end of the second on Matt Boldy. That was the puck. We all know it. The ref knew it. He wouldn't apologize after, but still, a call like that can change everything on his feet. Matt Boldy did speak about this, comment about it, and say, it is what it is. The game is fast. It was pretty close. I thought he knew right away it was the puck. He got hit in the head. His head goes back. It's close. It's a tough call for the refs. And, of course, one of the best referees in the NHL goes to apologize, very much knowing that that was going to happen. It is a mistake. The game is so fast, as Matt Boldy said, you can't get every call right, which does suck, but that's the game, and had it be a different game, would have been a much different result here in this one. But like I said as well, going into this game, you're going up against a good goalie, and I mean, having a guy like Connor Hellebuyck in net, it's going to be tough to score, and I feel like that's where those shots came in, the shot differential, the expected goals for the Minnesota Wild being significantly better than the Winnipeg Jets, 4.4 on the expected goals. And at the end of the day, the Jets did not play their greatest game. The Wild did not play their greatest game. Played good, but ultimately like this, and it would have been a win had they played their best game with things going in their way. But at the end of the day, it's hockey. Things do happen, and this should be taken as a very good sign going forward about what the Wild should expect from this team, what we should expect from this team, and it's a good sign to take away knowing that they can get back into the score sheet. Get there and get better on that, and you'll be in a very good shape. Now, one thing I wanted to point out here from this article from The Athletic from Joe Smith, he did kind of go and put the Wild's point that this game flipped for them in the positive direction. I think this is, once again, something that they should take into next game, into the next few games, and really go off this as their mentality of trying to generate some offense. And he says where the game flipped for the Wild, their biggest change is how much they attacked net front in the second and third period. They were beaten at first by the Jets, 2 goals that were scored right around the Minnesota crease, and the Wild said, hey, let's try it as well. It's a very good game, very good mindset, especially with a team like the Wild, who are such, or I should say not such a big team, as a lot of players in here are this very short in stature, but going into it, they're a very big team overall. They have some very big players. A guy like Marcus Foligno crashing the net will generate goals, will generate rebounds. Things like that are what's going to spark this Wild offense. We saw it here at the end of the game. Had it been in the start of the game, it would have worked out. So I'd like to see the Wild crash the net a bit more. And if that can work, I feel like we're in very good shape here going into at least the next couple of games. And I feel like that Matt Boldy, once again, continuing on with another quote that he had, said it best. He said, we created chances, we got there. Unreal goalie, so you've got to get in those places to score. I thought we did a good job of that. And at the end of the day, they did at the end of the game. Now, if they continue that, if that could be something that generates this offense, and although the Wild here in this game got that offense going late, it was a very good start. And I mean, when you go back to the hockey stat card, I feel like that's a very good way to kind of emphasize that the team offense and the individual offense both skyrocketed in this game because of the way they played. So, although the goal scoring still a little bit down, the offense is getting better. It's still generating good opportunities, and it's still at a very good point right now where we're going to see over the next little while. So let me know what you think about the game here in the comments below. We do have a few more updates, like I said. Zack Bogosian now considered week to week. We have a timeline for him. That's what John Hynes said was seen in a walking boot. So we can kind of get the idea of a timeline when we see that boot get taken off. But week by week is where we currently stand on that. One more thing I want to pull up. This is kind of a funny tweet here that I did see regarding the Wild in this game. And this guy, going out here saying, I don't know why anybody would watch the Minnesota Wild when literally anything else is on. Do you know how good a task is? Have you ever tried sitting in the dark and crying? Both are better options. I mean, this is a good start, Nick. So, obviously, this game still resulted in a loss, but seeing how this Wild team did approach this game, did take this game, it's a very good sign. So, to get out, let's not watch any more tasks. Let's watch some Wild games, get into this, and get going, because I feel like this Wild team is bound for a major change here now over the next couple. So, let me know what you think about that as well. That's all I got here in this video. If you did enjoy, give it a like, hit the sub button as well. I'm signing out, though. Thank you for watching. Hope you have a great day. See you later.